Hi everyone. I'm just going to quickly go through the instructions again for the SFA 1 for Unit 1 in case you guys need a little extra support as you are working through that today for those of you who haven't turned it in yet, or in case you're going back and making some changes. So remember, the question you're trying to answer is what factor or factors appear to contribute most to the disproportionate spread of the COVID-19 virus in Florida. So when you're answering that question in your claim should include factor or factors. It could either be one or more than one. When we're talking about factors, we're thinking about things like race, ethnicity, age, income, all of those factors that affect the spread that we've talked about in class. And then this term, disproportionate, remember that means we said the virus isn't affecting all groups equally at the same rate. So this question is really asking you which of those factors that we've talked about are contributing to the fact that not everyone's getting sick at the same rate in the state here. And that should, your evidence should all be coming from this data that's included in the document here. So just going through this data a little bit because some of us were a little confused by it. So first, data set 1 includes the 3 counties that you're looking at here. And then the thing I want to highlight is, remember, we talked about on last Friday in class, we talked about this per 100,000 thing, and how really the only reason for including that is we can take the total cases and then normalize for the population. So we see the most cases here, and we need to make sure that's not just because it has the biggest population. So in order to do that, we normalize by saying how many cases are there for every 100,000 people. That K just means 1,000. So this number means that for every 100,000 cases, or sorry, for every 100,000 people in Miami-Dade, 6,581 of those people have gotten sick with COVID. For every 100,000 people in Miami-Dade, 130.7 people have died. So again, this per 100,000 allows us to take this number and turn it into a fraction so that it's not just because of the population. It shows us the rate of cases. Next is the average income. Seemed like people understood this one a little bit more. Poverty rate is a term that just means what percentage of the population is living below the poverty line. So in Miami-Dade, 16% is below the poverty line. In Orange County, 15.6% of the population is below. And in Palm Beach, 12.2% is living below the poverty line. These are the ones that gave people a little bit more trouble. So I'm going to go through this kind of slowly, and I'm going to go through it twice in case it's confusing for you, because sometimes people heard it and it made a little more sense, and they heard it again and it clicked. So I'm going to go through it twice. So looking at this chart, these numbers on the bottom are just your axis. They're just showing you how far over your numbers are. You can ignore the numbers on the very bottom here. Everything that's in blue is race data for that county, and everything that's in purple is ethnicity data. So one thing that's important to remember is that race and ethnicity are different. And so race is about your skin color, ethnicity is about more cultural. So often people who are Hispanic identify with another race. And so what we see here is that this white alone population encompasses or includes both people who are Hispanic and people who are not Hispanic. So when we think about people who are white, we typically don't think of Hispanic people, but this number includes people who are Hispanic also, which is why that's included in parentheses, just to remind you that this is a larger number that includes multiple kind of groups of people. So again, this 79% is for people who are white. So again, these are race numbers. So in Miami-Dade, this means 79% of the population is white, 17.7% of the population is Black, 0.3% of the population is American Indian or Alaskan Native, 1.6% of the population is Asian, and then 1.3% is 2 or more. And then we can break that down further into the ethnicity data. So in addition to that being true, 69.4% of the population is also Hispanic, and 12.9% is white and non-Hispanic. So thinking about this white alone number, that includes the people who are Hispanic and the people who are white non-Hispanic. So that's a breakdown there. So just going through a little bit one more time, remember the blue data is race data. And then, so 79% of the population of Miami-Dade is white, 17.7 is Black, and so on. And then we break that down further into the ethnicity data as well. So if I said what percentage of the population is Latino, you would say 69.4% of the population is Latino. If I said what percentage of the population is white and not Hispanic, you would say 12.9%. If I said what percentage of the population is white, whether they're Hispanic or not, you would say 79%. And then this last data set is just very specific. It is race or ethnicity of people over 65 living below the poverty line. So I'm looking at each individual race or ethnicity, only the people who are over 65, and then what percentage of that group is living below the poverty line. So for example, of all of the people in Miami-Dade who are American Indian or Alaska Native, 12.2% of that population is living below the poverty line. 19.3% of all of the people in Miami-Dade who are Asian and over 65 are living below the poverty line, and so on. And then again, your notice and wonderings are optional. You did not have to complete them. They're just to help you organize your thinking. And the part that's actually being graded is your CER, which is here. One more time, your claim that you're trying to answer is what factor or factors appear to contribute most to the disproportionate spread of COVID. So when you are phrasing your claim, a good way to frame it might be to take this and turn it from a question into a statement. So you might say, the factor or factors that appear to contribute most to the spread are blank, and then just filling that in, because then you know that your claim will answer that question. So again, if you were having any confusion as you were going through this, you can feel free to spend today making some corrections on this assignment. You can resubmit after you do that. Or if you haven't turned it in yet, then hopefully this was helpful for you. All right, take care, bye. Have a good day, guys, bye.